I would love us now to kind of like take that whole discussion and focus more on that whole idea of mastering the basics that you oftentimes like hear coaches talk about, like having beginners start off with the basics and only then having them, for instance, do some more advanced versions of this. And
Mhm.
I'm just wondering if this is kind of like a culprit of the fitness industry that is kind of leading to a disadvantage. Because when do people kind of like make that jump from, okay, I have the basics covered now, and then I can move on to something more thrilling or something more sophisticated?
Okay, the short answer is you never do, right? You start off with the basics, and all of a sudden you've been training basics for 10 years and
Mhm.
you don't see actual progress, right? Because that is not the base of the fitness industry. The base of the fitness industry is get you in, get you pretend to work on something to get better at it, and all of a sudden you're practicing technique for 20 minutes, or I'm sorry, you're starting with a warm up, like a general warm up is always a good idea, and it is. Don't freak out, it is. But you do 10 minutes warm up, then you do 10, 15 minutes of technique work, then you do like 3 sets of warming up the actual strength exercise, and then you end up with like 5 minutes where you can actually do the work, because after this is the cool down and the workout and all that kind of stuff. So it is set up to not deliver the progress that I want to see. And this is fine. Entertainment is a part of the fitness industry. But what the basics really are, and I can sum it up in one sentence, stick with the shoulder. The basics is all you have to know about the shoulder is okay, whenever I do, it's called the pulling exercise. You bring something towards the center of mass, pull up, Chinese row pulls, whatever it is. The only thing you have to take care of is, okay, whenever I do this, my shoulder blades need to finish in. That means touching each other and stay down. And my elbows are going to go from the inside towards the outside. That's all you need to know. And that's all you need to practice doing pulling exercises, period. Pressing or pushing something away from the center of mass is the exact opposite. So you're going to end up with your shoulder blades on the outside, shoulder blades stay down, and your elbows are going to move from the outside towards the inside. That's all. Did I get stuck or did you hear
Yeah,
me?
you lost us. You lost us at the pressing motion that whenever pressing, you kind of like want to have the opposite of the pulling motion when it comes to the shoulder blades.
Yes, exactly. So that's the only thing I need to think about when doing that. Those are the basics of upper body work. You're either going to go shoulder blades in, staying down, and elbows going from the inside towards the outside, or shoulder blades are going to go out, stay down, and the elbows are going to move from the outside towards the inside. That's the of upper body training. You choose whatever you want to do with it and whatever you want to exercise you want to execute it with. That's all you need to know about shoulder training. All right. Then you can choose exercises. And again, in the templates, those are exercises that I found work the best, meaning giving the fastest progress for normal people training 2 or 3 hours a week. That's why they're in there. I have more than those that are in there, and there's probably better ones, but those worked for me. So I'll suggest everyone tries them and applying those two simple principles for the shoulder when you're either pressing or pushing. That's it. Those are the basics for the shoulder. And for the hip, we're not going to talk about the hip today. It's even simpler.
Okay. Speaking of the templates, because you just mentioned them,
I'm
um,
sorry. Can I add one
yes,
thing,
of course.
because I've not fully answered your question. So when I want to get a pull up, the only thing I need to worry about is, okay, whatever I'm doing that I think will give me a pull up, whatever exercise I'm doing that I think are going to give me a pull up, whether that's banded pull-ups, ring rows, normal rows, Chinese rows, whatever it is, whatever you think or whatever coach suggests is going to give you a pull-up. It's great. The only thing you have to do and you have to take care about is when you're practicing those exercises, whenever you finish the exercise, the shoulder blades need to be in and stay down, and your elbows go from the inside to the outside. Whenever that's happening, obviously you're going towards using more the lat dorsi, which we need for pulling. Whenever you check off these boxes, you'll get better at that exercise. That means you're going to be one step closer to the pull-up. On the contrary, this means whenever you're not doing this, that means you're going to go further away from getting your pull-up. Example, one last thing, like you can answer or you can ask your question. Negative pull-ups. I don't like them. Banded pull-ups. I don't like them. But if you want to use them, if you want to make it work, just check the following.
Why
If
don't
you're
you
doing,
like them? Could you just throw in one sentence why you don't like them?
yes, so I don't like the negative pull-up because if the goal of a pull-up is you're pulling up here, your shoulder blades are in, shoulder blades stay down, and your elbows are out, that's what you have to start with when you're hanging up there, right?
Mhm.
Okay. If this is the goal of the exercise and you cannot do a pull-up, how can you even start in that position? Yes, I get it. You can stand
Mhm.
on a box. I totally get it, right? But the point is, I don't want to teach my body, okay, this is the ideal situation. And when I get down doing a negative pull-up, okay, it's gonna get worse because I have to literally do the opposite movement that I'm actually wanna train. So there's no point in me doing this because it's too complicated. That's my point. You
Mhm.
can absolutely do this, you can make it work, but in my experience, it's just really hard to do for normal people, right?
Mhm.
Banded pull-ups, for example. Okay, this is a great tool if you know what you're doing. What I'm just seeing, most people that are doing banded pull-ups are just doing this. So they're going to end up like this, no matter if they're using a band or not. So that's not the point. If you're using a band and you're pulling up and you're getting better at shoulder blades in, shoulder blades down, elbows out, I'm all for it. It's a great exercise, right? But it's not the exercise. It's the
The
things you're
execution.
doing,
Yeah.
the execution of it. And I know that sounds so lame because everybody's saying this, but I'm breaking it down to like um, principles that apply to every exercise, not movement cues specially designed for the pull up or for a Chinese row. The basics that I talked about, the shoulder blades and the humerus, the big arm bone going out, this is true for every single exercise out there. So you don't have to learn anything new. The shitty part about the fitness industry is if you repeat true stuff over and over again, people
Mhm.
get bored, right? But that doesn't mean you can just say random untrue stuff to them just to make them excited about it, right? So we as coaches, we have to find different ways how to say the same things, which are true from my point of view, in different ways, create stories around it so you can practice the same stuff over and over again without getting bored. But I'm still going to say the same things. Maybe I'm just going to use different stories. For example, like, okay, whenever you're going to pull yourself up there or whenever you're going to do a Chinese row, I might actually have a pen in my hand and I'm going to just going to lay this on the back and I'm going to tell them, okay, you're going to pinch
Mhm.
the pen with your shoulder blades on top, right? So when you finish, you have to literally feel the pen being pinched in between your shoulder blades whenever you finish the movement. So they know when they've pulled the shoulder blades together, right? This is just one of 1,000 ways how to say
Mhm.
the same things without them getting bored. But just don't use fancy cues that are not working just to entice people doing the right stuff. This is not working. All right, so back
Just
to your question.
no, just out of personal interest, what is kind of your equivalent to having the pen when someone is doing like a Chinese row or something like that? When someone is doing like a pull-up, do you have any like f similar things that you tend to do?
Yeah, you could totally do the same thing, or you can use your finger. You can use whatever helps them. You can show it to them. So that means okay, let's let's call it a twisting ring pull up with my feet on the bench, so
Mhm.
they can so let them see what I'm doing. Let them feel what I'm doing with my shoulder blades. Most
Mhm.
people don't have like super high body awareness, which is totally fine. So we need different angles. I don't know how that person in front of me wants to learn. Tactile feedback with the pen. Maybe she needs to see what it actually
Mhm.
looks like when I'm doing it.
Mhm.
Maybe she needs to hear it more often. Well, you choose whatever works for the person in front of you.
Okay.
Another 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 good one would be, okay, if you just if there's no body awareness, just use a band in between your twisting pull-up sets and make them pull horizontally, because the tactile feedback from the band is going to help them feel it at
Mhm.
once, like feeling the lats engage when you do this. Okay, try pulling your shoulder blades out and then pull. Oh, I don't feel my lats all the way down. But when I do this, ooh, suddenly it starts to go down even further. So, I mean, just a couple of ideas how to teach the same thing in different ways, packaged with different stories. You can say, I have a funny Johnny Bravo story for mainly like guys who know who Johnny Bravo is. He's a cartoon figure as like a very broad V shape and no legs, basically. So a lot of guys can relate. Um, and he's walking around like a gorilla. So if you tell guys stories about walk around or get in a position like Johnny Bravo, or imagine you going into a bar trying to talk to a nice lady at the bar, how are you going to walk into the bar, right?
Mhm.
You're not going to walk in like this, but you're going to get your chest up, and all of a sudden, every guy knows how to walk and how to pull the shoulder blades together. Once the thing about Johnny Bravo or how to walk into a bar, um, am I still allowed to say picking up a nice lady? Whatever. Approaching, trying to
A
start a
female.
nice conversation with a female person.
Very
If
good.
that's still a thing nowadays, whatever.
I love it. Now, I especially appreciate the practical breakdowns and the practical cues and ideas. So that's all we have for today.
Sweet. All right, guys. So, short summary of today's call is the shoulder is super simple to learn. All you need to learn is, okay, where do I need to position my shoulder blades, in and down or out and down? Plus, what does my humerus need to do? If you need percentages, I'll give them to you. 80% is the shoulder blades and 20% is the humerus. So guess what we're going to start? Exactly. We're going to start with the shoulder blades. That's the only thing you need to practice, no matter the execution of the exercise. Right. This will lead, practicing those positions will lead to the right muscles, to the right big muscles turning on. That's a huge difference to the hip, right? We're going to start with tension in the hips, which will lead to good positions. We have to do the other way around in the shoulders. We have to practice positions, which will lead to the right tension, backing it up. That's the short summary for today.
Mhm.
Love those questions. Try to keep it practical. See each other next week and keep thinking about those questions. Send them in. I'll crush all of them. Bye, guys.